Well, hello and welcome to my latest video, movie review time. I Swear, written and directed by Kirk Jones and starring Robert Aramayo and Maxine Peake. What's it like? Is it any good? Should you spend your money? Stick around and you'll find out. I swear. Alright, if you've watched any of my videos, you will know that I swear a lot in my video reviews, okay, and I swear in a lot of my videos. It's just a thing that I do, okay. So when I say I swear, I'm not talking about me swearing in my videos. I'm talking about a film which is called I Swear, and it is about somebody who has Tourette's syndrome. Now, if you don't know what Tourette's syndrome is, it is a syndrome, or shall we describe it as a neurological condition that causes those people who have it, I'm not going to say suffer from, because I'm not sure that's the right phrase in this kind of thing. It causes those people who have it to swear or say inappropriate things, or to have facial or other tics, sometimes quite extreme tics, and sometimes movements, kind of like sudden movements like that, which are all uncontrolled and uncontrollable. In other words, they know that it's happening, but they are unable to stop it. And I Film tells the true story of somebody who has Tourette's, who's called John Davidson. He was born probably about 1980, lived in Scotland, still alive, and it's kind of his story from when he was at school, first starting to develop Tourette's, and then through into adulthood. And it's about what happens to him, basically. It's about his life. And it stars Maxine Peake as well as the mother of one of his friends who befriends John Davidson, takes him under her wing and supports him, kind of looks after him, certainly provides him with a great deal of assistance, and assists him in finding work and in, I guess, improving his life. So that's kind of what the film is about. It's a biographical film of this guy, John Davidson, who's got Tourette's syndrome. And is it any good? Well, yeah, actually, it's great. It's a brilliant film. Now, the first thing to say about it, I think, is Robert Aramayo, who I've never heard of, is an actor who does not have Tourette's syndrome. And I guess it's quite important to say that. I was kind of wondering, having seen the film, I was talking to my friend and saying, you know, does he have Tourette's syndrome? And then it struck me, of course, you couldn't really have somebody who actually had Tourette's syndrome acting in a film where they have to follow a script, because by definition they have no control over what they're saying in terms of the Tourette comments, if you see what I mean. In other words, they have no control about when they're going to make these offensive remarks, or when they're going to say these sexist or racist or homophobic things, or whatever it is, or when they're going to do any of the other things. And it would be quite difficult to follow a script that requires the star to kind of swear, but the person with Tourette's syndrome doesn't swear at that point. They swear at another point, which is kind of an inopportune point. So you could make a documentary, and I think there's been sort of documentaries on Channel 4 about people with Tourette's, but you'd struggle, I think, to make a dramatic film because of this point. Having said that, when you watch the film, you do not know, and you do not realise, if you like, that Robert Aramayo is playing somebody with Tourette's as opposed to somebody who actually has Tourette's, because it is that good a performance, and it's a desperately moving performance, and it's a desperately moving account of what John Davidson's life was like as somebody who develops Tourette's at about 30, at the age of about 30, and then for the rest of his life and what happens to him. And it certainly illustrates how difficult it must be to have a disability, whether it's a physical disability or this, which I suppose you could describe as a mental disability, and how difficult it must be for the families of people who have a person with such an affliction. Is that the right word? I don't think it is the right word. It's a condition, a syndrome. Let's say condition. That's better. It must be very difficult if you're the family or somebody, the mother, the parents of somebody who has this condition, because particularly if you don't understand it, and why would you understand it? Because it's quite difficult, I suppose, if you've got a 13-year-old boy who starts saying inappropriate things, to try and work out, is he saying this because he's saying inappropriate things, because he's naughty, he's a bad boy, which is what his teachers and family initially think, or is it because he's got a syndrome? Now, you don't learn really anything about Tourette's in the film. You don't learn why Davidson develops Tourette's. You don't learn what the cause of it is. Perhaps it's not really fully understood what the cause is, so they don't try and approach that. All you have is this character who develops Tourette's syndrome, and nor do you kind of understand why, as he gets older in the film, the Tourette's appears to lessen a bit. Now, partly what he does is not control it, but he becomes more aware of it, more understanding of it, and also is able to educate and teach other people about Tourette's. And one of the things about the film, I suppose, it doesn't preach to you. Okay, it's not one of these incredibly worthy kind of Channel 4 documentaries. It's not beating you over the head with something. You're not given a whole load of facts and figures about Tourette's. It's not a documentary in that sense. It is a dramatic film with a story arc. It's got a beginning, it's got a middle, it's got an end, it's got characters, it's got relationships, it's got family dynamics, it's got all the kind of things that it's got all the kind of things that you'd want to have in a film without hitting you over the head with it. And it doesn't tell you what you should think or how you should think about people who've got Tourette's. What it does is it shows you the impact on the person with Tourette's of how society and people who don't understand and don't appreciate the particular condition and how they cause problems for the people who have it. So, for example, Davidson is beaten up on a couple of occasions because he makes inappropriate comments at inappropriate times. People think he's being rude to them or being aggressive to them, or he lashes out at one point in a bar and that ends up in a fight. And of course, those people don't understand that he's not in control of his actions. So it's a British film, I suppose. You could say it's a small British film, but it's a small British film with a big idea or a big story to tell, a big subject, a good subject, an important subject, a subject of which too little is known, too little is understood. And I suppose Tourette's is one of those things that it's very easy to laugh about, and I've probably been guilty of that in myself in the past. Not that I've ever known somebody with Tourette's, but if you're watching a program about somebody with Tourette's and they suddenly swear or make an inappropriate comment, there is something quite funny about it. It's inappropriate to laugh, but there is, and we kind of had to understand, I guess, the human condition in the way that people react to this kind of thing. It's not funny, but it is funny, if that makes sense. But what the film allows you to do, and certainly allowed me to do, is to confront how one might have thought about something like Tourette's in the past and how one should perhaps think about Tourette's now in the context of this film. So it's a superb film. It's a wonderful film. It's a beautifully acted film. It is moving, intensely moving in certain places. He is befriended by the caretaker, who gives him a job as an assistant in the community centre, and this caretaker is one of life's what's the word? Not chosen, but if you like, chosen by God. He is one of the good people who supports Davidson and helps him turn his life around in a lot of ways, because he says to Davidson, stop apologizing for who you are and what you do, and start educating others, teaching others. So Davidson goes out into schools. He visits groups of policemen to explain Tourette's, to give people insight into the condition and how they can better understand and support people who have it. So what's it like? It's a film about somebody who has Tourette's. Is it any good? Yes, it is excellent. It is brilliant. I saw it in the cinema. There weren't many people there. If you get a chance, go and see it. It is uplifting, and it's one of those wonderful films that deserves a bigger audience. So yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. Go and see it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.